were also very fortunate to have Nick Bellantoni, the state archaeologist, come through there, and he found all kinds of fascinating historical points of interest as well. So we think it really makes science and history come alive. One of the main goals is that for a lot of kids, science and history can become intimidating and boring, and what we're trying to do with the scavenger hunt, part of what we're trying to do is make it come alive, make it interesting, make it relevant, help kids connect the dots.
So Bonnie, with this natural laboratory available to you, what do teachers have to do essentially to be prepared to have their kids ready to go out and into this new lab?
Well, teachers every day are teaching through the process of inquiry or discovery in their classrooms. As I said before, we've put together many new units throughout the district based on the state and federal standards. And teachers are teaching children how to think. They're teaching children how to use a laboratory to solve problems. And so then they're taking those experiences that they have in the classroom and bringing them out into the real world. And if I could dovetail on something that Tom said earlier, particularly in the summertime, I would certainly encourage families to go out to the Discovery Zone. It's a way to keep your children's skills alive. We all know that during the course of the summer, children don't like to study. But this is a way of studying in real life. It's a way of having them go out and ask questions and discover the answers on their own. So in order to keep their skills alive, I would certainly encourage people to go out there. In addition, Tom talked about the historical and science perspective. We have planned a program for fourth graders next year where the art teachers will also come out and do an art lesson as the children are going up there to not only look at the historical trails and do the study I talked about earlier with the vernal pools, but they'll also have an art lesson out there too. So we're trying to dovetail all of the curriculum together.
So it's a multidiscipline kind of approach.
It is an interdisciplinary connection.
Right.
And Tom, if I could just add another, I think, important facet to this scavenger hunt, aside from the fact that we think it's really enrichment for the kids, as Bonnie is describing, and also preparation for them because of what they'll be learning in the future in the school system. The other major issue here is that we know that the outdoors is really critical for the development of children. We know that it helps them physically, emotionally, even cognitively. And kids are spending less time outdoors today. So the object here is to make things fun, make kids want to come outdoors, make them want to stay outdoors. So we really think that this is a way for us to be able to achieve that. And we've had tremendous response from people so far with this.
And I'd like to just dovetail on that a little bit and ask Bonnie, what's been the reaction of the kids? I mean, obviously a day out in the woods is a lot better than a day in the classroom, but getting past that, do you see any tangible benefits from the kids being out there?
Oh, I absolutely do. Not only the children, but also the teachers. It was a little difficult, the whole idea of inquiry at first. It was difficult for teachers because it was a new way of teaching, and it was difficult for students because it was a new way of learning and thinking. Instead of the teacher being the sage on the stage, they were now the guide on the side, and children were planning their own learning and making their own discoveries and having to draw conclusions about what they were doing. At the beginning, as I said, it was difficult. Now, we're 3 years into new curriculum and the second year of planning to utilize the Discovery Zone, and we hear only positive effects and reactions from parents and students and teachers.
I think the thing that excites me so much about this whole effort is the getting out of the silo mentality from a town and Board of Ed perspective, and that's working together, utilizing and sharing each other's resources in order to get a better product, whether it's the Discovery Zone itself or better scientists, young scientists, kids who are piquing their interest in science. So that's pretty exciting to me. Tom, do you see, I mean, as I think about this, I mean, what could you do with the senior center up at the Discovery Zone? Has there been any thinking about, you know, for example, taking seniors up there? I mean, is it kind of terrain that would be amenable to bringing people up?
Well, It absolutely would be, and this is a mammoth project. This is 171 acres, 5 miles of trails, and we have just recently completed that effort. And that has really absorbed the majority of our time. So we're now just starting to think about things exactly like that. And one of the avenues that we have considered, in fact, is talking to seniors, because we know they have a walking club. It would be tremendous for them. One of our first trails right off of the parking lot is Memory Lane, which is essentially an area where we cited an old 19th century road. And it's great because we have a picture of an old road from our Historical Society book, and then you actually see the road right there. And it's a terrific place for seniors that may want to just come out and enjoy the outdoors. We have a nice bench for them there if they need to sit down. It's flat. It's easy to navigate. So absolutely, those are the type of things that we're thinking about now, and we're going to start to implement in the fall.
Yes, because senior mobility, if you can keep a senior mobile and moving, I mean, that just helps their entire being, including their brain function, et cetera, because they're getting more blood, et cetera, to their brain and moving things around. I think that's probably a very, very solid idea.
And we think that, the park, and that's what we're excited about, is the park has an appeal for really all ages. And all shapes. I mean, we think that it's a park that you really don't have to be in great shape to navigate. It's going to be a very, very simple hike for people. Again, we have a lot of benches there, so we think it's going to be widely accepted by the townspeople.
Question for both of you. I don't know who wants to jump in there, but you talk about the scavenger hunt. I just want to bring it back. Why a scavenger hunt? Why does that fit into an educational perspective on science?
Well, what the scavenger hunt does is it really engages the children. For example, we have boards where they can look underneath for salamanders. So, and then it tells them that there'll be salamanders in that area because there's a vernal pool nearby. They can go to an old 19th century quarry and learn about the history of that by looking for the quarry holes. So it's a way to make them active. We have one area called Life in the Rotten Log Pit, where they actually look through rotten logs, and they'll find, we find larvae and mushrooms and things like that. They'll find life in there, and it's a way for them to really draw out, what nature has to offer. And it really creates a sense of detective work, because when you walk through there, our expert Hank Gruner specifically picked areas that you'll see repeatedly. And even as an adult, you find yourself noticing all these things that you might otherwise walk right by. And it really opens up your eyes, and it's really a significant way to make nature come alive. And again, I go back to the point that we're competing now with television, with computers and video games, and kids are bombarded with so much stimuli that when we take them outdoors and we just take them through a hike in the woods, a lot of them are going to get bored easily, and they're not going to want to stay out there. So this is a way to make things fun and interesting for them and to keep them outdoors and keep them learning.
It engages them. Anybody who's ever taken a child to a museum knows that their child will run directly past certain exhibits because they glance at them as they walk by. This truly engages children in active learning as well as active discovery. And we also know, everybody has heard about No Child Left Behind. Many people have not heard about No Child Left Inside, which is a new initiative to help children get outdoors. As Tom mentioned, children really aren't out the way they used to be. And this really does engage them in wanting to be outside and discovering what the natural world is all about.